Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. As you see, I got the hair right today. So yeah, this is a video that I really wanted to do. In this video, we're going to talk about the 8 skills that you need to be able to start your own business, okay? Or just be an entrepreneur in general, right? If you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to start your own business, you really need 8 skills, and I'm going to tell you those skills right now. So number one, right? You need to understand how to listen effectively, right? Effective listening is pretty much just being able to hear complaints, right? And understand everything from the complainer's shoes, right? And we're going to go into empathy a little bit later, but understanding problems, right? Researching is a big part of your job as an entrepreneur, is to understand what problems people face, right? And if you don't understand the problems that your people face or that your potential customers face, you can't solve those problems. So number two is critical thinking, right? Because now that you've understood and you listened, you have to start to think critically about, how do I solve this problem? How do I make this problem at least manageable? Something like that, so that you can give it to them, right, in a way that you can solve their problem while still profiting for yourself. Because some people, believe it or not, they're very good at solving problems, but don't really understand how to make it where there's a system around it to where they can, uh, be compensated, I guess is the best way to say it, compensated for their efforts. All right. Number three is empathy, right? So you have to be able to be empathetic to what people are going through, right? And this is a part of understanding your customers very intently, and understanding who they are at their core. And that's important because your customers will not trust someone who doesn't seem to understand their problems and doesn't understand where they're coming from. And if they don't trust you, they won't buy. So that leads to number four, right? Persistence. Because believe it or not, it's not just going to be peachy keen when you first start most of the time, right? Some people just get it. Some people are natural salespeople. They really understand the problem. They understand the product. They understand the person, right? And they may be natural salespeople, but that's very rare, right? Including me. I was never a natural salesperson. I really had to work at it and understand that it's not really the product that you're selling, but you're selling people on your belief that it'll solve that problem. So you have to have persistence, right? Because the only way to gain that skill of learning all of that is to continue failing, right? And that's going to be hard. That's really the hardest part about being an entrepreneur, is you're gonna have these things come up in your face that are failures, or failures in your mind, or people around you will think that it's a failure, and you're gonna have to keep going anyway, because you know that this is the solution for a lot of people's problems. A lot of people are suffering, and you can stop it as long as you keep going. And if you don't have the right mindset, if it's all about that money, or it's all about this uh, lifestyle that you're trying to achieve, right? That lifestyle is a memory of the future. Right now, you're in pain, and you have to be able to put that pain of people rejecting you to the side and say, my mission is to help people, right? And if your mission isn't to help people, a lot of people will just quit because they don't love what they're doing enough. And some people, it's not even helping people in terms of the customer. Some people, it's, for example, an actor might be, I have to tell this story. I have to do the best I can to make this story come alive, to make this character come alive. But in the end, you're really trying to connect to that person as an actor. Anyway, getting off topic, how to start your business. You have to have that persistence, right? Going in to number five, and this is the part that happens immediately after you have your first little bit of success, right? You get like, I made my sales, I'm happy, now it's time to organize. Because here's the thing, when all it was an idea and a way to sell something or a product, that you felt really passionate about. That was great. As soon as you start to bring in income, now you have to organize your system of saying, okay, well, this is the routine that we have to go through in order to keep the money cycling in. The money has to be used for these things. The way to grow is by doing these things. The way to train our people is to do these things, and so on and so forth. So you need to be able to organize, right? You also need leadership, which is number 6. All right. So leadership is one of the things that most people will struggle with, to be honest with you, because leadership is not, it's not so much about telling people what to do as a lot of people tend to think, right? It tends to seem like you can just be a tough boss, or it tends to seem like you can just be a relaxed boss. It's really you have to, as a leader, almost be a parent, right? And as a parent of 2 children, one with autism, I can tell you this: you cannot parent 2 children the exact same way and get the exact same result, right? And it's the same thing with being a leader in an organization. In the military, one of the things that I learned is that some people love that discipline, love that structure of saying this is how things are going to go all the time. Some people need room to create. Some people, you know what I mean? Like there's a different spectrum of the types of people that they are, where they flourish, and how they can help you to get your product out there, to help more people, to grow your business, so on and so forth. And even if you're not taking on a lot of employees right away, you have to lead yourself, right? And that's really what entrepreneurship is all about, is being able to lead yourself, to organize yourself, your own actions, and follow through, right? And if you can't lead yourself, it's going to be hard for you to lead other people, all right? So now that we've gotten those 6 things really out of the way, that are like the to-dos, the next 2 are not necessarily to-dos, but it's just traits, right? And these are traits that most people do not have, right? And I want you to really think about this when I say this, and think about yourself, to understand that it's okay not to be an entrepreneur. It's okay to work the job, do the 9 to 5 thing, and make your money for your family. You know what I mean? You don't have to steer the ship, right? Because it takes courage, right? It takes an immense amount of courage, and it doesn't seem like it because it's just, what am I doing? I'm selling stuff to people. You know what I mean? I'm creating a product. I'm blah blah blah. But here's the thing: most people tend to forget what it means to have courage when it comes to business, right? You have to be mentally tough. What that means is most people will see a problem, right? So for example, you might listen to the news and hear, oh, well, the stocks are doing great, or the economy is doing great. And so you're like, yeah, let's go. We're doing great. Everything's going great. And then you get bad news from the news. And then you're like, oh man, I got to hoard all my cash and blah, blah. Now, here's the thing: that pattern that you're going to go through is very stressful and emotionally taxing. And it's easy for people who allow themselves to be fed all the jumble, or all of the negative news or positive news, either way, to get on this thing like a roller coaster, right? And as an entrepreneur, your job is to stay even, right? Your job is to be able to be the general of your army, right? You have to be able to look down the barrel of this gun and attack. You know what I mean? And so you've got to be spending money, right? And sometimes that means you're going to be putting yourself at risk, or your company at risk, or what have you. But you have to be able to say, okay, well, this is what needs to be done. It's going to be scary, but I got to do it, right? One of those things for most businesses, most entrepreneurs, is just spending money. And that never really goes away, right? You spend money on a small level, and it's a little scary, and then you get used to it. And then you spend it on another level, and it's a little scary, and you get used to it. And you go up and up. And every time you're a little bit more scared. And here's the thing that you kind of have to understand before I move on to the final thing, right? Courage is really just pushing yourself to the next level. All right. If you're not pushing yourself to the next level, then you are falling. right? It really is kind of like you have to think about it almost like how a baby bird takes off, right? That's your business. If you're not flying, you're falling. And if you're falling, it's done, right? You can save it, but if you're trying to stay safe and you're like, okay, let me hoard this money, you're done. All right. Finally, you need vision, right? Because here's the thing, your plan today may or may not work, right? And you are going to have to change your plan probably multiple times, make little tweaks and stuff like that to your plan multiple times, because here's the thing, you don't know what's 10 steps ahead of you necessarily when you start a business. You just know what's important. All right. And yes, you do have a business plan, right? But to basically steal a phrase from Mike Tyson, everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the mouth, right? And that's where that courage comes in, right? When you have courage, it allows you to have that vision and stick to the vision and say, okay, something bad just happened. How do I move forward from here? And if you don't have vision, then what ends up happening is your world kind of shrinks and you get a little bit scared of what bad things could happen. So anyway, those are the 8 things that you need, 8 skills you really have to have in order to start a business. And I want you to honestly, right, consider this for yourself, right? Do you have those things? If not, where can you strengthen yourself if you're committed to being an entrepreneur and starting your business, right? And if you are committed, right? And even if you need to fix some things and you know that, I want you to go ahead and put those things in the comments below and let me know what you're working on, right? And that way I can actually address some of the things that, you guys might need help with. So anyway, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you let me know what you need to hear next, because I can't give you what I don't know that you need. So anyway, I'll see you guys on the next video.